to the basement.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Basement Boys Podcast. I am Chris Gray. That is Eric Mincer. And let's just jump on into it as usual.
Hang on, Chris. I gotta ask you, why are you wearing sunglasses inside?
Because, you know, when you're fucking perfect like me, you gotta block out the haters a little bit. Fucking 5-0. 5-0 on the UFC 255 main card. Making me money, making him money, probably making you money.
A lot of money going in a lot of pockets. That was incredible. You got all 5 fights. Nailed it.
Fucking, I hate wearing sunglasses inside, but
It's weird, man.
I had to do it for the bit. Yeah, went exactly as I said. Not exactly. Calvillo gave Chookagian a lot more of a fight than I originally thought she was going to, but I said it even last week during the show. Like, I wasn't necessarily 100% surprised by that either. She does have skill,
Right.
but I just thought Chookagian was too much too soon.
So what was the big takeaway from this last card? In your eyes, like who stood out?
Oh, Figueiredo. Figueiredo just handled him. Like, I thought it was going to be a quick and easy fight, but that was next level.
Too quick, too easy.
Yeah, that was just not the same. And these two people are just not the same. Yeah, he's going to be a force to be reckoned with in that division. Unless Henry Cejudo comes back, I don't really see who's going to beat him. Cody interests me a little bit. Because of the success he's had in the past. But I'm not sold that he'd beat him either. Yeah, Jennifer Maia, though, I think even though she lost and pretty much got dominated for most of the fight, I think she comes out looking like a fucking real problem.
So she had an impressive loss.
Yeah, because she had a very impressive second round. The first and second round, I was worried there for a minute.
See, I didn't get it. I didn't watch the fights. I didn't get them. So you gotta take me through this. You gotta paint a picture in my mind, like I was there.
Okay, so first round, it was pretty back and forth. Valentina was being Valentina, you know, sticking, moving, working off the back foot. Her Muay Thai is fucking incredible. I think it was Valentina who originally started playing for the ground game, and it just did not work out well for her, especially going into the second round. Maia figured out how to keep her down there, and I've never seen anyone do it. She was wrestling fantastically. Obviously, she's Damian Maia's wife. She's got to be good at jiu-jitsu. It just is what it is.
I'm not gonna make the joke. I'm not gonna say that Damian Maia and her are experienced with wrestling with one another. I'm just not gonna go there. I'm not gonna paint a picture in anyone's mind. I'm not gonna do that. I'm above that.
Yeah, we're classy on this show, right?
Yeah.
But so yeah, she took her down. She held her there, and credit to Valentina, though, she did not seem to like overexert herself trying to get up or overexert herself trying to defend. She just minimized the damage, took her lumps. Okay, when we get out of this, we get out of this. We still have 3 more rounds to go after this. And from then on, she just took over the fight.
So last week you were most confident in Valentina, and I think Vegas was too. I think she was by far the biggest favorite on the card.
I think she closed anywhere from a minus 1,600 to a minus 2,000.
Yeah, very heavy favorite. And so she actually, for the first time, looked like somebody actually could not compete, but like hold their own with her.
At 125, yes. At 135, she's lost fights before.
Right. Okay.
Just because I thought she was undersized for that weight class. But she was too big for 115, so it was kind of hard for her.
Right. But now it looks like she did her thing, even though she had a little bit of adversity with somebody kind of bringing her to the ground, keeping her down.
This was definitely the first any type of adversity she's faced at flyweight. That's for sure. All right, so Jennifer Maia, again, great fight. Still, Valentina, just monster, and you're not. There's nothing you can do about it. It just is what it is. Tim Means Mike Perry, like I said, fucking great fight. Great fight. And Mike Perry looked a lot better than I thought he was gonna with his whole situation going on, which is with him not really having a fight camp.
Yeah, he has a lot of personal situations to handle, but he looked well. He looked like he was handling himself well.
I mean, he fought pretty well, and Tim Means is not an easy out. Like, he's not the top level of the division, but he's no Kamaru Usman, but he's not.
He's a guy. He's a real fighter.
He's a tough out for anybody.
He's a real fighter.
Yeah. So,
the way I would describe that, I just heard on the radio is they were talking about the Panthers, and they're like, the Panthers aren't great, but they're not the Jets.
yes, exactly.
Okay, so he's the Panthers.
Yeah. Anyway, so Curtis Blades versus Derek Lewis. I think it's going to be a really fun fight. This is going to be the fight to really show how much Derek Lewis's wrestling has improved, how seriously he's taking this.
I love Derek Lewis's comedic. What's the word I'm looking for? Comedic responses. Just his post fight.
His balls was hot. We all know.
Yeah.
No, everyone loves him.
He's a fun guy.
Yeah, his Instagram's great too. He just
Yeah.
posts people like getting their shit rocked.
Yeah, he does the same thing on Twitter.
Great.
He's a legend. He has a second career cut out for him if he ever wants to stop fighting. He's just gonna be a social media guy.
I just think he's too much of a private guy to really corner that market. I think he's just gonna be that guy who posts dumb shit.
There's a lot of money in that, man. Fuck Jerry.
Yeah, like look at like the Fat Jewish and
Yeah,
stuff like that.
He
Like,
could be like that whole documentary. That's Derek Lewis's future. Just kidding, Derek Lewis. Don't beat me up.
yeah, but he's fighting Curtis Blades, who's I'd say the best wrestler in the heavyweight division at this point now that DC's gone. Stipe could try to like challenge him for that title, but I think pure wrestling wise, Curtis Blades is probably better, and he gets better every fight in all aspects of fighting. So I think this is a really good fight, especially to test if Derek Lewis is really taking his wrestling serious and doing what he needs to do. I'm actually pretty excited for this one. Other than that, it's going to be nice to see Anthony Smith back in there. Hopefully he can pick up a win, because I do love seeing him fight, and I think that's going to be 3 or 4 in a row if he loses this one. Other than that, nothing I'm really all that excited about.
How are you feeling with your magical picking abilities? Who you like?
Ooh,
You know that's what we all are waiting for.
this is a tough one.
You don't got to make them on the spot, but when you do, make sure you link it, make the graphic. Tend to send me a text. I'll place the bets. Chris is making money here.
As of right now, I'm probably going to lean Curtis Blades, but I'll sit on it a little bit.
Yeah.
This is a rough one. All right, just needed to gloat. Needed to get your thank yous for making you some money. Get your thank you for making you some money.
Thank you.
And I'll get my own goddamn thank you because I made myself some
Thank you.
money. Let's go.
Whole fam eats.
All right, so let's just jump right into football. Where do you want to start?
We could look back at last week a little bit.
Of course.
A little bit of takeaways. Our New York Jets covered the spread.
That's because they gave up halfway through the game.
Well, they got lucky in the first quarter. They got a real convenient kick block and score to give him 6 points. The Chargers gave him 2 points on the safety. It adds up.
It does, but that second half, they weren't playing. Like, everyone's being like, see, we came back at the end because they weren't trying. They knew they had it in the bag.
Right, and I think watching the first half to the second half, like, Justin Herbert is so good.
So good.
And you could see in the second half they were just very conservative, just run the clock. But, I mean, not to my own horn, but Justin Herbert, I wrote him up and I said, Mike Williams is going to eat. He had a touchdown. I said,
Also, just before we get into that, fuck you. Fuck you. Why'd you have to go against your own team and take every receiver going against your team in fantasy and beat the shit out of me with Keenan Allen?
because Keenan Allen was going to eat, and Hunter Henry is going to eat, and Mike Williams is going to eat. It was Thanksgiving. Herbert brought the turkey, and he was carving up the Jets defense.
Fuck.
Touchdown, Hunter Henry. Touchdown, Keenan Allen. Touchdown, Mike Williams. It was beautiful to watch.
If I didn't kill it in DFS in football too, I would have been very upset on Sunday.
DFS, did you go with Herbert?
No, I went with Deshaun Watson.
Oh,
I
okay.
got him at a good price.
You can't go wrong with Deshaun. He's been killing it. But our Jets look really, really bad on defense, and they got 2 more roughing the passers. That's 12 on the season. No one else has more than 5.
Greg Williams.
Greg Williams. What can you do about that? Like,
He's just gonna try to injure your team, and you just got to deal with it.
if you're one of these teams that has to play them going forward, like I know the Rams come to town. Or we play the Rams. I don't know if it's in New York, but we play the Seahawks. Do you think Pete Carroll is going to be like, I'm taking Russ Wilson out in the 4th quarter before Greg Williams breaks his legs?
Probably. That's
Yeah.
what I would do.
I'd pull him right like soon as the game's a little bit out of reach.
Oh yeah, I'm not even saying he's trying to injure people. Even though he has very much a history of trying to do that.
It wouldn't be like out of the question for him to be trying to injure people.
Oh yeah, it definitely wouldn't shock me. But the style of football that he preaches gets people injured.
Yes.
And whether or not you want to say some of that was paid for or not, in certain situations, on certain teams.
I don't know. There was like a 3rd down where they got Herbert. Herbert was running towards the 1st down, towards the goal line. It was inside the Jets' 10. He's on the ground. It's clear as day the play is over, and they still hit him. If that's not tanking, then what is?
And everyone talks about the MetLife Field, but I'm pretty sure a lot more people went down for the 49ers when the Jets played them than when the Giants did the next week.
That's true. I think the new one is now FedEx Field. We saw Kyle Allen get hurt there, and Joe Burrow got demolished.
Oh my
I
God.
think we should talk about that.
Fucking Joe Burrow, man. That is
Gotta
heartbreaker.
hope he fully heals and he'll be back. They think the 2022 season, because it's going to be about a full year recovery for an ACL, MCL, and meniscus.
And structural damage, which means broken bones and stuff.
It's going to be at least a full year, and I mean, that's just such a heartbreaker for the Bengals, because he's the guy. He's going to be their quarterback for a while.
And he also, like, he's not Kyler, some of the other guys, like, he went to 4 years of school. He's starting to hit his prime now, just like physically as like a person, you know what I
Right.
mean?
A year older than Lamar. People forget.
So he's wasting some time.
But I'm sure he wants to be back out there.
No,
It's
I'm not
just
saying
like,
I'm not
I know
saying
what
it's
you
his
mean.
fault. I'm just saying,
his time is passing.
and it sucks because, like, I feel like the Bengals just put him in situations that,
Well, they have no offensive line.
Yeah.
And they're going up against Chase Young and a very, very good Washington pass rush. I wrote that he wouldn't play well because of that, but I obviously didn't expect him to get injured. But I think what this actually allows the Bengals to do is be bad enough to get a top pick and take Sewell out of Oregon, a left tackle prospect who could maybe help Joe Burrow out.
you knew you were going to talk about this episode.
I knew I was going to talk about it. It's honestly, wearing this sweatshirt has become like just a sweatshirt I wear. And right after the elections, people just gave me this look of like, Oregon, the state that just decriminalized all the drugs, this guy, we're in
Yeah.
Oregon. And I'm like, go Ducks. It's like- But hey, Herbert, also, Oregon Duck. Ducks fly together. He's balling.
No, he's been like the real shock
Yeah,
of this year, for me at least.
I think everybody was expecting Burrow, who's been playing well. Bad situation, and we hope he gets better. But
No, yeah,
I mean-
they've both been absolutely lights out. They've both been playing so well. Like, I feel like they have more wins than they actually do. You know what I mean?
it's because every single one of the Chargers' losses have been by 6 or less.
Yeah,
It's just that they're in every game,
yeah,
which again is for fantasy, for daily fantasy, is great because it means he's gonna be throwing the ball a lot.
right.
But when they get a big lead over the Jets and stop throwing the ball, it slows it down. He still had a great game. The other rookie quarterback, Tua got exposed.
Yikes.
They lost 20-13 or 23-13 in Denver. I should probably have the score if I'm saying it, but
And got,
he got
yeah, 20-13, and got benched in the fourth.
And Brian Flores came out after the game and said he's not injured. He just said, he wasn't playing like the starter.
And I've heard this kind of echoed throughout sports talk in the last couple days, but I feel like Brian Flores is the guy who's so well respected that whatever he's trying to do is to help the team win. That even the people who didn't like Burrow getting taken out were like, you know what? Brian Flores made that call. It's because he thought Ryan Fitzpatrick gave them the best chance to win at any
And
given.
Fitzy did. He brought him downfield. They got a field goal. Then his second drive, he brought him down, got picked off in the end zone.
Right, that later interception killed them, but
That's what Fitzmagic is.
Yeah.
He'll bring you down all the way to the goal line, and then what happens there is anyone's guess.
And what's his name? Rex Ryan made the point, like, you either get Fitzmagic or Fitztragic.
Yeah.
And you saw both of him on that night.
Yeah. Well, it's what happens when you play him. I think for Tua, that's a wake up call because I don't know. I heard rumors that he wasn't used to the altitude and that was affecting him.
Right.
And I don't know if that was going on. I don't know if Vic Fangio just has a good defense with the Broncos, but Tua did not look good, and I lost a lot of money because the Dolphins lost. So I'm mad at the Dolphins.
But you have to expect that by now. Like, because that is just such a big factor for the Broncos.
Yeah, absolutely.
And even when they're not, like, I think that's an advantage for them even when they're not on the field because your just red blood cell count is so high, you can just outpace everyone else.
Is that like a PED, performance enhancing? Well, it's not a drug, but it's like.
But like,
Is that cheating? Are we calling it cheating?
No, it's definitely not cheating. But like,
no, I know what you mean. It is an edge. It definitely is.
No, but you have to understand, people will go and train it out. Like fighters will go and train in altitude, or they'll have special like low pressure chambers that they sleep in.
Oh yeah, you hear it from players in the NBA all the time that they'll say like Allen Iverson. He's like, yeah, I played 2 years in Denver and my body was in better shape than the 12 I spent in Philly. Like whatever it is, guys just.
That's because of the lower altitude. Your body literally produces more red blood cells.
Right.
So you're able to carry more oxygen at any given time. So when you go to a place where the atmosphere is like normal, it's still like you still have that extra
super
burst of breath.
Right.
That's what happened to Cain Velasquez against I want to say it was Junior Dos Santos. I can't even remember now. I just remember the beating he got. But yeah, was supposed to come out there and just demolish and just gassed out in the first 2 minutes because it was in Denver.
Yeah, and Denver has a home game next week against the Saints, and this is going to be coming up in my article, which will be out later this week, plugging my stuff. Taysom Hill, I don't think he's going to have anywhere near as good of a game going into Denver for the same reasons. I think he doesn't have a full experience of being the quarterback. I mean, he had a decent game against a really bad Falcons team, and I think going up against a not-so-terrible Broncos defense in the altitude, I think the Saints are a better team. They'll win, but I think it'll be a low-scoring defensive game.
Yeah, but you saw some bursts from Taysom in that game. Like,
Yeah.
you definitely saw why they felt comfortable starting him over Jameis Winston.
Yeah, he seems to know what he's doing. I mean, he's clearly a competent quarterback. I just think that he definitely benefited from having a really good Saints defense, so he knew he was playing with the lead most of the game.
No, I agree, but like we did not know that going in before this game. He's had like 5 snaps ever before this, so we didn't even know if he was a competent quarterback.
That's a very good point.
At least you know. You
Now
know
we
what I'm
know.
saying?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the Saints should feel very comfortable with him for the next however many weeks until Drew Brees stops breaking ribs. That's
20 ribs.
It came out. First there's like, may have a few. Then the number was 11. Now it's up to 20.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Because that's multiple breaks in the same rib, which is just terrible.
I didn't even know I was going to say, I didn't know how many ribs we have. 20. Leave a comment below. 'Cause 20 sounds like a lot.
Yeah, that does sound like a lot.
I don't know, but the Saints still won. 24-9. Matt Ryan had a horrible game. I'm beginning to start to really dislike having Matt Ryan on my fantasy team.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, he sucks. And I got him and Julio, so when they're on, it's the best feeling in the world. When Julio leaves the game hurt in the first quarter and finishes with 6 points, and Matt Ryan just looks lost the whole game.
He's looked lost since that Super Bowl.
Yes.
I don't like that. That flicked something in his head.
It had to have. Mentally.
Because he went from being Matty Ice to the most shakeable quarterback I've ever seen.
Exactly. And you saw the pressure. Anytime the Saints got in the backfield, he just went down.
Folded.
Just went down. I think that loss had to have such a mental drain on the organization.
and just like it really took him from A to B as a quarterback. I don't know if he was just on his run that year. You know what I mean? Like some guys just have a
MVP
year
season,
when they
yeah.
get a run,
Yeah.
but it's
In a way, it reminds me.
you don't see it fall off like that.
Yeah. I was going to say, in a way, it reminds me of Cam Newton, but Cam Newton at least had the injuries after his MVP season where he lost in the Super Bowl. He did have a couple of down years, but he's had a lot of injuries to deal with. Matt Ryan he just looked bad, and as
It's bad.
a team, they didn't look like they have any line. So Todd Gurley, I keep forgetting he's over there. Todd Gurley,
Yeah.
he got nothing going. That was a
But
bad game.
he's been playing decently well.
He has, but I'm just saying,
He's been playing a lot better than what I thought he was gonna, seeing that the Rams were so willing to cut him after paying him all that money.
that's true. The Rams gave him, yeah. Well, the Rams did that with Brandon Cooks as well, right? They gave him a lot of money and sent him on his way.
Yeah.
We should definitely talk about the Rams too. I don't know if we want to jump around to the Monday night game or we want to stay on Sunday, but
Let's jump.
all right. The Rams came out on Monday night and won in Tampa. Tom Brady
Yeah.
not looking good in prime time. Had another off game where throwing the ball downfield just seems to be his weakness.
And just he felt like he got outdueled by Goff.
Goff made mistakes, but Goff bounced back from them. When Brady made a mistake, it seemed like the next possession Brady was making another mistake. Or he just couldn't get it going.
I want to know what it is about these super teams that like the NFL's been trying to do, like the Browns in the past couple of years, and
Yeah.
now the Buccaneers. They can't get it together, it feels like. And it's not even like they're underperforming, like, oh, they're only making it to the divisional game or they're only making it to the NFC Championship game. Like, no, they're like, at least, especially in the Browns case, they're like falling apart
Well, the Browns are doing well this year,
this year.
right now.
But that's 2 years after we thought they should have been the Avengers.
Yeah, I guess.
Same thing we're saying about the Buccaneers now.
Yeah, the football has a learning curve that I think a lot of people just forget about. They think you can just throw guys together and make it work, and I think there's a lot of chemistry, especially, again, pandemic year. They didn't have the offseason to train together, to do preseason, to do the normal things they would. You throw in Antonio Brown, who, to his credit, has been very good and has not caused a scene. But
Right.
it's one of those things where I guess in the locker room, it's in the back of your mind of like, this guy could blow up at any moment. This guy just came in off the street and has taken my job.
Yeah.
The Rams defense looks incredible.
Yeah. But they should.
They should.
Like, they have all the tools to be incredible. Like, and again, I feel like last year it was just kind of not living up to the hype quite as much.
Well, last year might have been kind of like what we were just saying with the Falcons, was after the Super Bowl loss
Yeah.
that it just took a toll on them.
Yeah.
Because I remember that entire season, and rightfully so, because they were steamrolling teams. Everybody just thought they were this juggernaut and they were just going to come in and run up the score, and they only scored 3 points in the Super Bowl. And for someone like Sean McVay, who everybody's, the next genius, he's the guy. If you're his assistant, you get an interview. Like,
Yeah.
he's that level of just worship, and he just came out so flat in the Super Bowl. I think it did play a toll.
I think the same thing for golf. It had kind of the same effect, especially in like the public perception,
Yeah.
because he was lights out. Fucking sign him up for 9 more MVPs in the next 10 seasons.
Yeah, they gave him a huge contract extension.
And then after that Super Bowl, everyone was just like, "Oh, that guy, he's fucking he's all right."
Yeah, it definitely it got in his head. That's something that, like, as a not professional athlete, I'll never understand that being so close and not getting there. But
Right.
I think, yeah, we definitely saw it a little bit with those teams.
Dude, Tom Brady just kills quarterbacks.
Tom Brady, yeah, he wouldn't shake Goff's hand. Like, dude, you beat him in the Super Bowl and he shook your hand. You're 40 years old, 43 years old. Shake the guy's hand when you lose.
Yeah, like I understood it a little more with Nick Foles because I guess he feels like he robbed him of one.
Yeah, but I mean,
you still should have shaken the
dude,
guy's
shake
hand
Nick Foles' hands. Maybe take it out on your defense that let Nick Foles throw for 500 yards.
and catch a touchdown pass.
And catch touchdown pass. Well, Brady caught a pass. That was really weird. You saw that play? It got bad at the line of scrimmage. Brady caught it and
I
then
did see that.
he tried to throw it. And fantasy, like, I don't know if anybody else was watching it live or I'm just the guy who does the single game showdowns. They gave Brady a pass and a catch on that, and then they gave him like 8 yards, and they gave him a second catch, and like they had no. DraftKings was so lost on that play.
DraftKings like, what the fuck just happened?
DraftKings took out one of those signs that says "Be back in 5 minutes" and just went to the back and smoked a cigarette. Like they just needed a breather. That was it.
You can't fucking do that, especially not at 43.
That was Aaron Donald just getting up there, blocking a shot. Dikembe Mutombo, and Brady somehow caught it. It was an interesting play, but if you got Aaron Donald and Leonard Floyd and Malcolm Brockers just coming at the quarterback, and you have Jalen Ramsey shutting down your top option, whether it's Mike Evans this week, who did have a phenomenal touchdown, DK Metcalf last week.
But that's also always been Brady's weak point, is if you get after him, he gets rattled.
Yeah, he can't move. He's a very unathletic, immobile quarterback.
Right. And he, again, we talk about Sam seeing ghosts. He starts to see ghosts when you get after him. He just hasn't been caught on a hot mic saying it. Like,
Yeah.
that's all that is.
He has the Belichick training of just like never say anything.
Oh, I'm mic'd up. Let's not talk today.
But you definitely saw the frustration where he was getting under pressure and he just throws it downfield. He's just like, I'm just gonna get this ball out as fast as I can, and that's when he got picked off.
Yeah.
Which was good for the Rams. Big win for the Rams. They're now in first place in the West.
Dude, the West are just fucking tossing that shit around.
Uh,
All right.
well, that was a great Thursday night game between the Seahawks and the Cardinals.
Yeah.
There's a lot of short quarterback talk.
But you gotta do it when you got Russell Wilson and Kyler Murray in the same game.
There was a lot of they both played baseball. That got mentioned a lot. They talked a lot about the Hail Mary from the week before.
Hey, Russell Wilson is a member of the Yankees, okay?
In case you didn't know that, Russell Wilson plays baseball and Kyler Murray also played baseball because ESPN or Fox or NBC, whoever has the game, will let you know that many times.
Every single time. Who'd Kyler Murray get drafted to?
The Oakland A's with the 9th overall pick.
Jeez.
Top 10. Like, he was a good baseball player.
Dude, top 10 and the first overall pick? Like,
Yeah.
are you fucking kidding me?
Right?
Like, wait, no, he wasn't.
Yeah, he was number 1 in NFL.
You're right.
Number 9 in baseball. You know, we couldn't get drafted in either.
Yeah, well, that's because we lack athletic ability.
Fair enough.
But yeah, great game. I was very surprised that Seahawks were able to pull that one out.
I think Kyler might have hurt his arm because as they showed a million times, he was getting it iced. And I think there was a play where he was running for the first down and he slid instead of diving. And that slide cost him the first down at the very end.
Right.
And I think that's one of those, like, if your shoulder's feeling fine, yeah, you lay your body out. If your
Right.
shoulder's at 50%, you're not laying your body out, and it cost them.
But still, either way, the Seahawks held them to 3 touchdowns. The way Kyler's been playing, hurt or not,
The way the Seahawks have been playing,
right. That was a shock to me.
that was a big win for the Seahawks. They really needed that to stay there,
And
right in there in the division.
and that also, I think that gives them the tiebreaker now, right?
They have the tiebreaker over the Cardinals, but
Right.
the Rams have it over them because they've only played once.
Right, but
That'll be a great rematch when they play in a couple weeks.
I also feel like the Rams are a little more up and down ish. You know what I mean? Like, they've been going on runs, but they've also had some really bad games.
That's fair. I think the Seahawks had a really bad game not that long ago against the
True,
Bills.
true.
So I think they just got to play each other and sort it out. That's what I love about divisional rivalries is that they play once, then they play again, and
Especially
you
like
get to see.
especially a hot division like this,
Even-
where everyone's kind of primed to make.
But like hot take, even with the shitty NFC East, I kind of like it because yes, all the teams have 3 wins. Someone's got to win. They got to play each other. Like this is the day before Thanksgiving. We're gonna see Washington and Dallas. We're gonna see Dallas play the Giants again. I mean, these are games that normally would be absolutely meaningless because they suck. But there's that little.
Yeah, it gives it a little bit of relevance, but I feel like I would have more fun with it if I was a Giants fan.
Oh, absolutely. Giants fans got to be so happy right now. I think the Giants have probably the best path to win that division.
I would agree.
I mean, next week they're playing Cincinnati. Joe Burrow's obviously not going to play, so I think they could win that one.
Yeah, that's big.
I know they have another one left with the Washington football team.
And Daniel Jones loves to eat against that team.
No, they played them twice.
Oh, you're right. You're right. But either way, Carson Wentz is just not looking like I have no faith in him anymore. Like he's shook. He's the same shook that Matty Ice, like we were talking about. Like he
He didn't even lose the Super Bowl. He just watched his team win
without
without
him,
him.
yeah,
Yeah.
and just got hurt every season.
So I was very wrong. The Giants are not looking at an easy schedule. They played the Seahawks, the Cardinals, they did the Browns, and they do play the Cowboys to end the season. So honestly, they could win 6 games, which means they win the Bengals, they beat the Cowboys in 1 game somewhere in the middle of there.
Right.
Okay.
And
Crazier things have happened.
even the games against good teams that they lose, it's at least semi-competitive.
Yeah, they have been in every game that they've played, pretty much. I'm gonna fact check myself on that right now, but they.
But
they-
as a broad statement, it's not an unfactual one. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, the Cowboys, even though they seem to be getting it together with Andy Dalton, because how I've described Dalton for years is he's the quarterback that is good enough to keep his job, but not good enough to really win you anything.
Right, and that's really who he's been. He led the Bengals to the playoffs however many years in a row, and then they just
Never won one.
hi, nice to be here. I'm
Yeah.
gonna head out now. It's just real quick, real sad. I mean, it was tough for them to make it to the playoffs for so many years and not ever go anywhere. And then that was the prime of his career.
Yeah, and then everyone, the second he got named and Dak was out, and he got named starter, everyone was just like, "Oh, fucking trade Amari now. You're not gonna want him." And yeah, he hasn't had the types of games he was having when Dak was throwing the ball for me in fantasy, but he's still putting up solid numbers. Like they are moving the ball at least somewhat.
Do you have him in fantasy?
Yeah,
I would caution playing him against the Washington football team,
yeah,
#1 pass defense in the league. That's going to be a good game tomorrow. I mean, like I was saying, the divisional aspect of this game matters for the division. Is going to make it more interesting because otherwise there's just 2 bad teams.
yeah. My only problem with that is I think I only have Fulgham, who's not been playing well.
Oh, you were talking to Mari. I thought you were talking about Dalton.
No.
My bad. No, Mari should still be fine. I mean, he had a good game against the Vikings. That was a nice little surprise.
Yeah.
I'm just going over the games right now. The only other 2 I really want to talk about, we talked about the Eagles a little bit. Carson Wentz is bad. Good for the Browns. They won a game. The 2 overtime games, the 2 big ones, the Titans and the Ravens.
Yep.
Derrick Henry, your boy. Prime time. Clutch.
Clutch.
The walk-off, what was it, 50-yard run, 40-yard run? Something big. Ravens, Titans. The Titans won 30-24 in overtime. Titans are now 7-3. The Ravens are 6-4. The Ravens have lost 2 in a row. The Ravens now have Ingram, Dobbins, Calais Campbell on the COVID list. And they're playing the Steelers. The Ravens are in trouble.
So much trouble. But they were already in trouble before that. I forget who made the point that I saw, but they're not instilling fear in people this year like they were
No.
last year.
No,
That was half their thing. Is everyone came in and was like, "Look, we are not going to be able to stop anything they do. So fuck." Like, and this year there's no worry.
no, and you heard Lamar saying that other teams were calling out the plays.
Yeah.
I think they just the league's kind of caught up to them. They kind of realized what the offense is going to be. The Ravens are without Marshall Yanda, retired lineman. They're without Stanley, left tackle, who they gave a massive extension and tore his ACL like 3 days later. That unfortunately
sucks.
happens. But I think you see Lamar is under pressure, and he's not getting the time to let like Hollywood Brown go downfield.
Right.
So it's less of a vertical attack, and I think teams have caught up to them.
Because they use their motions and their play actions and the little RPO things they do to open up that big shot, and they just don't have the opportunity to do it anymore.
Exactly, and it doesn't help that like Mark Andrews is a good tight end, but he's not a #1 receiver.
And we keep saying that week after week after week after week, but it just keeps coming down to that. They need a #1 receiver.
And it's gotta suck.
If that is not the first thing they go after, either in free agency or the draft, I don't care which one.
Well, it's really gotta suck for them being in that division, watching like Chase Claypool, this rookie they could have drafted, having this great year. We're
Right.
watching T. Higgins on the Bengals, another rookie having this great year. And then
CeeDee
obviously
Lamb,
we know the Browns have a ton of receivers. Yeah, CeeDee Lamb, Justin Jefferson. This was a
even
year.
Denzel Mims in his last couple of games has been showing a lot of promise.
Yeah, Jerry Jeudy, Henry Ruggs. This was
There was so many wide
so
receivers.
many receivers, and they just like Lamar needs help. I don't know if they're gonna try to trade up, maybe get someone. But Des Bryant was catching passes for him. Des Bryant in 3 years.
Hey, Dez was looking good, man.
Des was looking fine for being 3 years removed from football, but that's not winning games.
Oh yeah, no, he's not the number one they mean, but that was after seeing him play and seeing him move and do whatever he needs to do, like I don't think that was a bad pickup, especially for the money they got him at.
Oh yeah, no, definitely for the money. You take a gamble on him for little risk, potential rewards. But if you're the Ravens right now, I'm gonna assume they lose to the Steelers.
You need that weapon,
They're gonna be 6-5.
or at least as much as I was big. I was big up in Mark Ingram, kind of in the past few weeks. I'm I'm faltering from that a little bit. Not that I don't think he's a great player. It's just I think everything's going wrong for them right now, like him there or not, and I just think the timing's kind of hit at the same time when he went out and when they just weren't able to figure things out.
Well, he's definitely a leader in the locker room.
Oh,
That always
100%.
makes a difference. Looking at it right now, the Ravens are 6-4, and they are out of the playoffs. The Raiders, also 6-4, would have the last playoff spot, and the Dolphins are also 6-4. So if the Ravens
That's
lose,
crazy.
the Ravens lose to the Steelers. You have this Dolphins team fighting around. They could get in over them. You
And
have
they're, like,
the Raiders. The Raiders are playing well. Like, the Raiders lost to the Chiefs. Another game we could talk about. Patrick Mahomes made that victory look so easy. But the Raiders put up the best fight of anybody all year against the Chiefs.
yeah, and
They already beat them.
they're the only ones that beat them.
Yeah, so I think the Raiders are a little bit more battle-tested. I think the Ravens might not make the playoffs.
I I'd I'd be hard pressed to say you're wrong. And say what you want about the Dolphins, man. Like they're looking like a playoff ready team this year. Depending,
Without the altitude.
yeah.
Yeah, their defense looks serious. Peeking ahead.
And their offense is playing well.
The-
Anyway,
The Ravens have one more game with the Browns, which will be a Monday night game, which will be very cool.
right.
Other than that, they'll be all right. They're going to make the playoffs. I was wrong. They play the Cowboys. Even though the Cowboys looked good against the Vikings, I think the Vikings just suck. I mean, I think Kirk Cousins is wildly overrated, even though he didn't play that badly. The Ravens
Yeah.
also play the Jaguars, the Giants, and the Bengals. So the Jaguars and Bengals should easily be wins.
Yeah.
The Giants, I could see being frisky, giving them a fight. I just think they could pull out 9 wins and make it. Or maybe not. Maybe 9 wins doesn't make the playoffs this year. The other game with playoff implications, the other overtime game, the Colts win in overtime 34-31 over Aaron Rodgers and the Packers. I've been saying it for a while. I don't think the Packers are in a comfortable position.
Yeah. I think, as we were just talking about it, this is one of the craziest wide receiver drafts I've ever seen. And they didn't get a wide receiver.
They did not take a wide receiver.
Like, come fucking on, dude. Everyone knows. Anyone who's ever watched a football game understands that you need someone else as a catch passer, as a pass catcher.
Oh,
We got it out.
there he is.
Um,
It was 28-14 at the half, and the Packers only scored a field goal in the second half, and that was at the very end, 3 seconds left, Mason Crosby to send it to overtime. That's
Right.
the only points they scored. Whatever the Colts figured out at halftime, if other teams could figure out, granted the Colts have a very good defense,
yeah.
like you said, it's really Aaron Rodgers, Aaron Jones, and Devontae Parker. And if you can limit Devontae Adams, wrong Devontae, apologize, then you can get to Aaron Rodgers, and that's how they stop them. They just completely flipped the switch at halftime. And credit to Phil Rivers, because I thought he was done.
Yeah,
I thought he was finished.
he's
and
still doing the damn thing.
He's not throwing the deep ball as well, but Michael Pittman's another rookie receiver's having a good, he's
right.
breaking out for them. And they seem like their defense with DeForest Buckner and Xavier Rhodes, they seem like they got a real solid defense.
Because at least with these older quarterbacks, like the ones that the upper echelon ones, I'm not talking about like a Ryan Fitzpatrick. I'm talking about like a Ben Roethlisberger or a Tom Brady or Phil Rivers. You know they're gonna make the right decision at the very
Right.
least, even if their physical attributes aren't where they were when they were younger. They're gonna make the right decision.
Right. And I think that's what we were seeing with Breeze before he got hurt, was that he wasn't firing the ball downfield. He didn't have the sauce on it, but he was still Kamara, open, touchdown. I mean, that route against the Bucks, Emmanuel Sanders and Jared Cook were just catching wide open passes because Breeze knew the decision to make.
Right.
And I know Aaron Rodgers obviously is in that category if he knows what to do. And like that drive at the end of the fourth quarter, he had a Hail Mary to Marquez Valdes-Scantling.
Right.
And you just knew that Aaron Rodgers was doing Aaron Rodgers things, and they were going to go at least to overtime. But the consistency just hasn't been there. I mean, they lost this one. A week ago, we were talking about how they squeaked one out against a very bad Jacksonville team. They had the nice win against the 49ers, but they lost at home to the Vikings. And there's that game earlier in the year where they got blown out by the Buccaneers. So I don't see this Packers team playing steady enough football to make a run.
And like usually you don't see teams where it's just like you plug this one thing in and it just wildly changes like a team's season. I really feel like with just one more patch catcher, it just wildly would have changed it. If they would have gotten someone in the draft, if they would have gotten Antonio Brown.
Oh, could you imagine if they got Antonio Brown?
Right. And it's so clear.
It is.
But just no one on the Packers seems to be able to understand that.
No, they're all in Devontae and Aaron. Devontae
And
Adams.
They should be. It's a great tandem. But
it'll be interesting because
it's almost like the NBA now. You don't just have a one and expect to like win a championship.
We'll get to the NBA. We got some thoughts on the NBA. But next week,
yeah, we'll get there.
Next week, Aaron Rodgers and the Packers are primetime against the Chicago Bears. They'll win that game because the Bears literally do not have an offense. It's just just one.
Between Trubisky and Foles, that's just fucking.
It's sad.
A nightmare.
I mean, last week they were in the game and they had 149 yards of total offense.
That's their defense, though.
That's like, yeah, exactly. I'm saying the defense is facing Rodgers, so that's going to be interesting for Rodgers. But like, I don't know. That's really bad for the Bears.
Oh yeah.
The Bears are 5-5 after going 5-1. Everything's falling apart.
Yeah. And hey, it's like they were. Say what you want about him, but they were winning more with Trubisky.
That is true.
Not really any other big games I'm super into talking about. Yeah, everything else I'm pretty okay. So
do we want to look ahead to next week?
Yeah,
we touched on a couple games.
All right, so you gave me the picks with the UFC stuff, so I'm going to pick a couple games. I want you to tell me how you think they play out.
All right, let's do it.
First of all, just to start off with something light and easy and you don't have to think about all that much. Just start with the home team, Dolphins-Jets. How do you see it going? Sam Darnold is coming back for this game.
Oh, is he? Oh, well, in that case, the
with,
Dolphins...
With all his receivers.
Oh, well, then the Dolphins are still going to win by a lot. But,
right.
Dolphins are a touchdown favorite. If you can get the line under 7, that's always better just because games tend to end with those 7-point spreads. I think Tua needs a bounce-back game. After whatever happened, him getting benched for Fitzpatrick in Denver, he needs the confidence.
There's talks about Ryan Fitzpatrick starting that game, too.
No shot.
You really don't think so?
Well, actually, if Fitzpatrick gets to start against the Jets when the Jets are this bad, Fitzpatrick's going to ball out to say fuck you to the New York Jets.
Oh, yeah.
But I think this is just a get-right spot for the Dolphins as a team. because coming off a loss like that, where your rookie quarterback might be a little shaken up. Yeah, definitely shaken up, a little rattled. There's nothing you want more than to face a team like the Jets, where you're facing practice squad guys at cornerback. Tua could easily come out and have 250 yards, 4 touchdowns, and then just hand the ball off. Like, I think the Dolphins run away with it. And I think the Dolphins' defense is so good that even if Darnold plays, as much as I do believe Darnold is a decent quarterback somewhere in – Diamond is in the rough.
Right.
I think the Dolphins are going to win that game by a lot.
Yeah, and I can definitely see that. All right. Next big game. Do you think Tom Brady can have a bounce-back game against Pat Mahomes and Chiefs?
I was just looking at that one. That's going to be such a fun game. I really hope I have nothing to do at 4 o'clock. I think the way the Chiefs' defense has been playing, Brady will have success. I think they have enough receivers that the Chiefs probably won't be able to stop them. I think the Chiefs keep it in the air, and the defense is going to have to lead them. I think it's going to be a lot of Mahomes just quick passing, and I think the Chiefs are going to win this game by at least a touchdown.
I mean, all he has to do is find Tyreek Hill in a little bit of space, and
gone.
Yeah, it's just he doesn't even have to be wide open. It just has to be a little bit of space,
just a little window, and with him being so fast, like we were saying with Antonio Brown as a decoy, you got to keep an eye on him. Like we were saying with the Ravens and the deep ball, if Tyreek Hill's running all the way down the field, you need someone to keep an eye on him. Someone's going down with him, and then Kelsey gets open. Like the final drive they had against the Raiders last week, like Mahomes looked like he was playing Madden on rookie.
Yeah,
it was just picking him apart. And I think as good as the Bucs defense is, I think Mahomes is just going to you can't make a mistake because Mahomes will find it and burn you.
Right.
If somebody is, like you said, an inch too much for Tyreek Hill, gone.
He's out the door.
Kelsey's a mismatch for any linebacker because he's too fast. He's a mismatch for cornerbacks. He's too big. Make a mistake, Mahomes is going to find you. So, and I think that's going to be the thing any Chiefs game. This is going to be a very fun one because Tom Brady, but it's going to be any Chiefs game. You can't make a mistake.
Right. And there's only one team that's been able to do that. So
John Gruden somehow figured it out.
Dude, everyone is giving John Gruden so much shit for till last year.
Oh, I hated John Gruden. I was all aboard the John Gruden shit train because he was so annoying on Monday Night Football with double wide banana. Oh, I just wasn't for me. But
no, I get it.
I give him credit. He's doing what he's doing. He's doing well.
All right. Another game with I feel like really, I'm surprised this game is in the early slot. Titans Colts. Do you think the Colts defense can stop Derrick Henry?
They did 2 weeks ago. I mean, on the Thursday night game.
True.
This is also a very good game. This one is for the division, both 7-3. Right now, the Colts have the tiebreaker.
Right.
I think they can. I do think they can keep Derrick Henry in check the way that they were able to kind of stop the Ravens rush game. Nope.
But I don't think that's. I don't think those are apples to apples. I think those are apples to fucking bulldozers.
Yeah, that's fair. But I think with Lamar, you got to respect the rushing ability the same way you have to respect that Derrick Henry can run the ball 8 times in a row and still
go directly through
you,
which no one does anymore.
Right. I just think the Colts' defense is better than the Titans' defense. I think the Colts can obviously not stop Derrick Henry, but can limit him to the point where Tannehill's going to have to step up. Now, Tannehill played better than I expected him to. He's been having a good run, but I like the Colts in that game.
Also, sorry, while we're talking about the Titans, because we missed this before, fucking Mike Vrabel is a wild card.
He is a football guy through and through.
Fucking getting into arguments with Harbaugh before the game, and Richard Sherman going after him too.
Oh, I was about to say,
they've had their beef for forever.
The coaching, that's like the Ohio State-Michigan thing going back.
Oh, yeah.
Michigan quarterback, Ohio State linebacker. It's in the blood.
And then Vrabel was just like, nah, we're going to go out there and we're going to stand right on your logo and you could do fuck all about it.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing that scares me about the Baltimore right now. No one did anything about it. Harbaugh had to go out there by himself.
Yeah.
and be like, "Hey, don't do that," and no one had his back.
It's just like when the Cowboys watched Andy Dalton get ripped apart and no one defended him.
right.
The same.
I think that's worse.
Which one? The Dalton one or the Ravens?
The Ravens.
Yeah, that's your home field. You got to step up for B more.
Like, because at least that's just one play. But they were just like, no, we're going to stand on your logo. Like, that's worse than T.O. going out there and, you know what I mean?
I mean, what T.O. did was just...
it was super disrespectful. But that was the whole team being like, nah, fuck y'all.
That's true. I'm pretty sure...
It wasn't just one guy being an asshole.
I'm pretty sure in, like, ancient civilizations, if you had, like, a full team meeting on another city-states area, then it's yours, right? Isn't that how it works? Like, invaders just kind of came and just set up... I'm getting sidetracked. Hey, guys.
Dude, he's fucking... Vrabel's got balls. Vrabel is also a fucking little Derrick Henry himself. He's a fucking Mack truck. But
and he's from that Belichick coaching tree. And I guess...
yeah, but I would never see Belichick doing something like that.
No, but you have Vrabel playing these mind games with the delay of games, running the clock and stuff, and it's the same mindset of just run the ball, pound the ball, play good defense. And that's what worked for them last year.
Right.
And you're seeing similar things out of Brian Flores, Belichick disciple in Miami. Great defense, leading the way.
But yeah, that was just really ballsy. All right. Is there any games you want to touch on for the week?
I think the Cardinals-Patriots is a game where the Patriots being a home underdog, something you always are afraid to hear. As Jet fans, we know for years.
Especially against the Patriots. Like
the Patriots at home, even though they're right now +3, I would take that side of things because Kyler, like we said, didn't look 100%. If he's not 100%, that offense isn't 100%. And their defense, we know the Cardinals have a very mediocre defense. Cam Newton was moving the ball last week. They kind of let things get out of hand at the end, and they just couldn't protect him.
I honestly have no faith in that offense. Like week to week. Like, yeah, they might get into a roll, but they might not at the same time. I don't have faith of them keeping consistent.
That's a solid argument because you also don't know if Sony Michel's coming back, if Edelman's coming back, if Damian Harris, who had the question mark all week, was questionable.
Burkhead just had everyone's having their knee exploded this year.
Yeah, it's a rough year for knees.
And it's like, it's not even like anything like in the beginning of the year when everyone was getting hurt. Like, everyone's into it now. We're in week 10. Like,
right.
Your body's kind of used to doing this. They're just getting hit in the worst spots, and they're all just so cringeworthy.
You see the hit on Dalvin Cook against the Cowboys? He was in pure football play. He was just going over the middle for a pass. Linebacker just hits him right in the ribs. Clean hit. It wasn't a helmet-to-helmet. You're not going to throw a flag on it, but Cook had to miss the next series. Like,
yeah.
It's just it's a physical game, and I think that's part of why America loves it.
But I'm just saying specific, like, do you think these rule changes that they've had have, like, I think they probably have somewhat in play in this because just like Joe Burrow, when you saw that happen, it was gnarly. Rex Burkhead, when you saw it, it was gnarly.
With Joe Burrow, honestly, like 2 plays before that was one where Chase Young, or maybe it was a little earlier because I think it was a 4th down, where Chase Young lit him up.
Yeah.
The ball came out and it was a fumble, but it went out of bounds. There was a touchback. That looked a lot worse than the one he actually got hurt on. But either way.
No, if you look at just his knee, like, I'm not saying like the guy threw all his weight, but just where he hit him, and if you look at the way his knee bent, it was
I do think
rough.
I do think that has something to do with the rule change because if you can't aim,
they're aiming lower.
They're aiming lower. They're hitting more of the knees. That's something the NFL is. I mean, what do? Do you want more head-to-head, more torn ACLs?
No, I know. I'm not trying to shame the NFL for not. You know what I mean? But just at the same time, I just think these are kind of the effects we're looking at. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Because you even heard it. I remember when the rule first came out, wide receivers were coming out, especially the big ones, were like, look, I will pay your fines. Hit me in the head.
Wow.
Don't ruin my leg so I can't make money.
Yeah. That's what it is for these guys. It's their livelihoods. I mean, we saw Odell Beckham Jr. with the ACL. This is, the second big knee injury for him?
Yep.
I don't know how that's going to affect his contracts going forward.
Yeah, it definitely plays a factor.
Definitely does.
Ugh, just knees. Send up prayers to him, guys.
I got 2 of them, man. It could have been me.
I can't talk about knees.
All right.
I'm tall as shit. My knees are shot. Okay, so just one last bit of football news before we move on. Do you believe the rumors that Joe Judge fought his offensive line coach in an actual fist fight? His like 6'8", 320 line coach.
I don't know if it's true, but I really want it to be. I think that's such a football guy move to just say, hey, look, I got a problem with you. This is how we settle this right now.
And against a fucking 6'8" monster.
That's prison rules. Find the biggest guy, take him down. Hey, the Giants have won 3 out of the last 5, and their 2 losses were the 1.1 to the Eagles and 2 points to the Bucks. Whatever's working over there, if Joe Judge needs to fight every coach,
he needs to fucking fire up the team, all right?
if he's got to fight every coach on the field to get them to win, I like it.
Hey, I'm with it. The fucking fight every coach you want, Joe Judge. We will back you up.
Speaking of coaches and fighting, I don't think there's any coach I would want to fight less than Mike Vrabel.
Right? That's what I'm saying.
If we set up an Ultimate Fighter bracket of NFL coaches, he's definitely coming in the heavy. He's the champ. He's gonna win.
Ooh.
I mean, we know Pete Carroll isn't gonna beat him up. Dude's almost 75. Romeo Crennel, who's on the Texans sideline.
McVay might have the speed on him. He's a younger man. You know what I
McVay's
mean?
my
He
size.
but he can
We
move
get
around a
eaten.
little bit more, you know?
Maybe what's the coach in Jacksonville? Doug Marrone. He was a big guy. He played line. I mean, we know Gase would probably just beat himself up. Gase
Yeah.
would just take himself out.
Gase would be there like, I'm doing a great job, huh?
Belichick would be like,
I'm doing great.
Belichick would be the Jedi Master, just sitting there, just like playing games with you, just looking at you, and you're just like, I give up, I lost.
Vrabel, Flores, fight everyone for me. I'm Bill Belichick.
That would probably be the top fight. That would be the fight right there.
Okay. Yeah. So, I would love if that was true. That would be that'd be my favorite sports news I've probably ever heard. Is just here, just like, nah, fuck you, gets washed, and then goes, you know what, fuck you, you're fired.
He sent him on his way.
No, apparently he got handled. If it's true,
What was was something happened at practice, like disagreement on a play calling or something? I don't know. There's more to it. We just got to get the inside scoop.
but everyone who's come out on the Giants say it didn't happen, like all the players, but
That's what they're gonna say.
yeah, I mean, obviously.
Interesting.
All right, so want to touch on a little basketball?
Yeah, definitely. Let's touch some basketball.
All right, where do you want to go?
Well, the Knicks did not fuck up the draft. The NBA draft happened a week ago. By our estimations, because we said it, Obi Toppin fell.
Dude, fucking big brain time over here, right?
Obi Toppin's from Ossining. That's about, 25 minutes from the city?
Yeah, I used to
Half
live in
an hour?
Ossining. Like,
Obi Toppin's one of us. He grew up a Knicks fan.
yeah.
It's going to be special. He's wearing the number 1. We got to call him Obi-Wan.
Oh, man, dude.
Fucking genius marketing already.
Great marketing. Let's go.
The question is, will they have anybody around him? Because they signed Nerlens Noel and did not get Westbrook yet.
I'm just so happy they didn't sign Gordon Hayward.
Yeah.
I was so worried they were going to sign Gordon Hayward.
Do we think that's, like, Michael Jordan's... Do you think somebody's, like, giving Michael Jordan really bad advice, or he's just making these bad decisions? Because they're paying... Hayward's going to be getting $30 million, coming off injury-plagued years. I mean, he had a gruesome injury.
Right.
And they're still paying Batum, like, $27 million for a guy who really isn't good.
Yeah.
Cody Zeller, I think, is making $15 million. I didn't even know he was in the league. He's that ineffective. I just can't... We always think Michael Jordan, like, basketball's greatest player.
Right.
He's got the shoes. He's got the billion-dollar businessman, but he
Right,
sucks
right.
as an owner.
I don't know if you can put that all on him, but also at the same time, I feel like they're just trying to bring in someone that, like, has been there, done that, you know what I mean, a little more, to kind of try to work with LaMelo and do all that, but
I don't know.
I wouldn't have picked Gordon Hayward, but I think that's what they were trying to do.
I think they're just trying to replicate that Celtics team from a couple years ago because they have Terry Rozier on a big contract. Again, like, I'm not saying Rozier is bad. I just don't think he's worth his contract.
Right.
They didn't want to sign Kemba to a long-term deal, or maybe Kemba was just sick of losing all the time.
Yeah.
I don't know if you watch LaMelo play and you know who his dad is, you know who his brother is. I don't know what part of LaMelo Ball says, let's get Gordon Hayward on his side. I just don't.
I just think they're trying to bring in, like I said, just a veteran to.
Do you think they're gonna be good?
No, I just think they were trying to bring in a veteran, and I think Gordon Hayward was just who they landed on. I'm not trying to defend that Gordon Hayward was a good pickup. I'm just going through their process of why I think they would have picked him up. Because other than that, I really have no idea.
It's just like, I mean, like the Michael Jordan, the aesthetic, the Jordan brand aesthetic is now like this pasty white guy who went to school in Indiana, like got his career started in Utah. It's just, I don't know. It's just not what I think they need to become a winning franchise. Speaking of winning franchises, I think the Lakers have kind of just retooled and might even be better next year.
Yeah, I think they got like you said. What's his name that they picked up? It's just a younger version of Rajon Rondo, who's faster.
Yeah.
Um,
They got Montrezl Harrell.
That was a great pickup.
That was huge.
And he's salty at the Clippers, huh?
He's so, there's going to be a little push and shoving when that happens.
Oh yeah.
When they play, I mean, that's just in the building rivalry.
Yeah. First of all, before we get deeper into the NBA, I was so fucking wrong on the NBA's offseason. I was like, yo, this is going to be a nice little offseason, not a lot of big moves. No, everyone's signing for 4 years, $195 million.
You get an extension, and you get an extension.
Yeah, everybody.
Tatum, Bam Adebayo, Simmons, Donovan Mitchell.
Van Fleet just signed back.
Van Fleet, Ingram, all these guys signing their paychecks, and I think most of them are deserved. Montrezl Harrell is definitely a younger guy off the bench, a sixth player of the year. That's a big upgrade. And they got Marc Gasol if they need a big man to come in for defense.
And I also think he played well in the playoffs last year in like the bubble. Montrezl Harrell did.
Yeah, he was going through some personal stuff because he lost his mom.
Oh
right
yeah,
before the
forgot.
Bubble. So he's gonna have, as much of a mental motivation as you can put on a person. Like he's gonna be fired up, and those games against the Clippers, he's gonna put up numbers. He's gonna go off.
I actually really love that pickup. He's going there. He's salty. Dwight Howard's leaving. He's salty. All these big men leaving the LA teams are just angry.
What do you think about Dwight Howard going to the Sixers? I mean, I clearly the idea is that if Embiid ever has to miss a game, you have another center you could plug in to play defense.
Yeah, I think they're gonna use him similarly to how he was used in the Lakers. Maybe not as big of a role, but he didn't really have the hugest of roles at the same time.
Right, and I think with Doc Rivers being the new Sixers coach,
right,
he'll figure out a way to get him off the bench and make him into the defensive guy that's what he is.
Yeah.
And
I think using him in the kind of the same way he was used on the Lakers, where like mixing him in with JaVale McGee just to give people different looks and like different things to worry about each time, I think would be big for them.
Yeah, and I still think that they're not done making moves because I've heard that they're still talking about Harden. That was another thing we talked about a lot last time, was where the Rockets were gonna all disperse to.
Yeah, but at the same time, the Rockets are holding strong. They're just like, look, they want out, but guess what? We decide if they go out.
They signed a contract.
Yeah.
They signed. They also signed DeMarcus Cousins.
Yeah. I think that was an attempt to appease James Harden.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's to appease James Harden, but to also kind of say like, no, we aren't just gonna roll over and send these guys away. We're gonna bring in somebody, and we're gonna run it back.
Yeah, we're gonna do it this year.
And I think he could, if he's reasonably healthy, he can definitely help. I mean, we saw they had zero centers last year. The small ball lineup took them so far.
But they're interesting to me because I don't know if they're just posturing to try to get better trade value or if they're really willing to like go to war with Russell and Harden over being traded.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that whole front has just quieted down at the last week.
Yeah. Where
Westbrook was being rumored to the Hawks, but now the Hawks didn't pull out. There was a rumor to the Wizards, and there was no truth to that. Like, it's just all rumors, like we said last week. A lot of it's rumors, so it's all speculation, but nothing really came of it.
And especially, I really like just everything going on. The Knicks really need to make a fucking pass at Westbrook. I'm sorry, because we don't even know how the next year's draft is going to look. We don't even know how the college season's going to go, if there's going to be a college season.
ESPN already put out their preview for next year's draft, and of course they project the Knicks to have the number one pick. Every year they're going to say the Knicks have the number one pick, so that way when the Knicks come up with the third pick or the eighth pick or whatever we actually get, it's the built-in narrative of, oh, the Knicks can't even lose right. And
But they can't. They can't even lose right.
We got Thibs now. We'll lose right. Thibs loves playing his guys into the ground. It's going to be the starters for 48 minutes.
All right, guys. That should be about it for us. You guys have a happy Thanksgiving.
Stay safe. Stay healthy. Till the next one.
Fucking just do it on Zoom. Like, yeah, it's nice to see your grandma, but it's also not nice to kill your grandma.
Yeah, grandmas are cool.
Yeah. Anyway, we are the Basement Boys. Chris Gray, Eric Mincer. See ya.
Welcome to the basement.